Patterson, all kinds of time to throw. Going deep, man open! Giles Jackson!
Nice play to Giles Jackson here. Interesting little fake action here for Michigan. So they keep McCune in. They're blocking down with a 4 down lineman on the left side of the screen. And you got Mayfield on the right side just as contained here. And then you're going to have Onwenu pulling across the formation, and this whole motion here from Onwenu is to get the linebackers to come up like it's a run play, as well as this safety, and that's really going to free the running back who has kind of a dual threat here, right? It's looking like it's probably an arc read or a split zone here, and then he's going to continue out on his wheel route. That's Giles Jackson in the backfield. So really good protection here. No one's getting in. They're only sending 4 for Indiana. They just came straight up field, no blitz or anything for these 4 defensive linemen. And when you on his pole comes nicely to help out here after McCune falls off a little bit. For the routes for Michigan, St. Ristel is doing a slant as well as the outside receiver. I think it might be Cornelius Johnson, hard to say. Tariq Black here going on a go route. Important thing to note here is he wants to get an inside release, and that's to ensure that OneDrive is not signed in. Sorry. Now that's to ensure that this guy is in one-on-one coverage with him all the way, and that's where the eyes of Patterson will go, is to ensure that this coverage is where this guy will be. And also if there's any safety, in this case it'd be this guy, that he is following Tariq Black here. And then finally, I mentioned the wheel route out of the backfield for Giles Jackson. So the eyes for Patterson, he's looking at Tariq Black all the way, looking at that defender. He's pretty well covered. Luckily, this action right here, as I said, the goal was to get these guys to suck up. It works for both the linebackers and the safety. At this point, Jackson's already gone here. These are the 2 defenders that eventually have to get out here, and there's just no chance with this much of a head start that they're actually going to get there. So good job by the offensive line, giving plenty of time for Patterson to see this. Good catch by Jackson on a good route, and then good cut here. Gets down to 7.
Moore has the goal-to-go defense for Indiana. Back.
Nice play here to Bell. It's really good recognition from Patterson to recognize this edge defender. He's actually the conflict player that Patterson is reading on this RPO. He points at Haskins to go block him. So normally this would be an RPO off tackle here, because you're bringing Bredesen, or not Bredesen, you're bringing John Runyon Jr. as the pin here, and then the pull from Ruiz off tackle here. So it's traditionally an RPO that would have gone this way for Haskins. Given this guy is the read player for Patterson, whether to hand off or to give, he points at him for Haskins to pick up in pass protection. That leaves one-on-one coverage on the outside between both Nico Collins and Ronnie Bell. This corner out is one-on-one coverage that Patterson is going to read, so he's abandoning this pin and pull run action to ensure he gets the throw off. So looking at the blocking, Indiana is sending this guy. They're running a little stunt here on the other side, although this guy doesn't really rush all too hard. Then they're going to bring all these bodies as well as this guy off the corner as well. So it's the right call here to go strictly to the pass, because Indiana's bringing a lot of pressure. The run really gets blown up by this guy who gets in the way of Runyon as he's getting to the outside, and that disrupts Ruiz on his pull here. Everyone else is doing fine. You got a double on this guy. Haskins does a good job picking up this edge defender, and then you'll have these 2 blocking here, but before Eubanks goes to the back of the end zone, you're going to have a little slant out of Nico Collins, and as I mentioned, the corner route out of Ronnie Bell. This is where the ball will go. So pressure doesn't get anywhere. It's a really quick throw. The run likely would have been blown up anyway, given this action, and you'd have a couple free linebackers probably who could come through here. So it's the right decision, good recognition from Patterson, and it's a really nice throw and catch here. Just a nice simple route. Nothing fancy. It's just really hard to beat that as a defender, and Bell runs a nice crisp route.
Out of the pistol now with the freshman Zach Charbonnet, the running back. He's out of Southern California, demonstrating his ability.
Stretch with zone blocking here for Michigan. Let's look at their blocking scheme. Backside, you got McCune, John Runyon Jr., and Bredesen all working towards the right side on the backside of this play. You're going to have Ruiz with a really important chip on this nose tackle to allow Bredesen to get his hips over to the right where this play is going to the right naturally. These guys, their whole job is to eliminate anything backside from getting upfield that would hurt this play before it gets started. They do really well. Bredesen actually gets his guy to fall, and that will eliminate those 3 players on the backside. Looking at Ruiz specifically, like I said, he gets a really nice chip here. He's going to get out to this linebacker. You'd like to see him hold this block a little longer. Number 7 will eventually make the tackle 20 yards downfield, but Ruiz, really good initial chip, and he does get to number 7 with a nice pop there for a couple seconds to delay his reaction to the play. Most important block on the play is this double between Onwenu and Mayfield. Mayfield especially, he needs to engage with this defensive end, give time for Onwenu to work his hips over to set this left side of this hole. Then Mayfield has to get out to this outside linebacker. It's a really tough job. Does a really good job extending his arms, allowing Onwenu to replace this block. And Mayfield's in great position to get to that outside linebacker, and he does. He forms this left side of the hole for Charbonnet beautifully. Then finally, Eubanks, he shows really good patience on this block. He notices this defender is flowing outside, right? He's naturally going this way based off of this action in the backfield. Eubanks doesn't engage until this guy commits to the outside. Only then does Eubanks actually make contact with his defender, uses his momentum against him, and sets up this huge right side of the hole as well. Combine that with Onwenu and Mayfield doing a great job there. You got a big gain. You got Tariq Black blocking on the outside. Ronnie Bell is set up really well here as well. Both of that picks up another 5 or 10 yards for Charbonnet. Good bit of running and just excellently executed.
Down by 7, nearly 4 minutes into the second quarter. Patterson to the end zone.
Unbelievable catch by DPJ. Let's look at the pressure here out of Indiana. They're sending 6 on pressure here. You're going to have this cornerback, I believe, off the edge here. This guy is running a stunt around these 2 defensive linemen who are going to be going to their right a little bit here. And then you're going to have this defensive tackle here and then this defensive end. So you're sending 6. You got Charbonnet in pass protection given that McCune is going out for a route. So you do have 5 down linemen plus 1 for Charbonnet. So you have 6 on 6. It's a bit of a difficult stunt to pick up. Let's see how Michigan handles it. So really good job here for Charbonnet to recognize he initially went this way. He notices this edge defender here blitzing. He picks him up really well. This is a really difficult one to pick up given you have these 2 guys and Ruiz already engaged with 47. So this is the gap he's trying to attack. It's a really good job for Ruiz to make sure he pushes this guy. This is, I think, a linebacker. He pushes him out of the way. Now he's ready for this stunt. Bredesen is ready for this guy since he handed his guy off to John Rooney Jr. Everyone is accounted for right here at the time of the throw. Everyone's here. Sure, the pocket's collapsing a little bit, but it's not a bad pocket. So really good job overall. Let's look at the routes. You got a corner route here out of McCune. You got the fade to DPJ. This is where the pass is going. You got a little, I would say, little delayed slant route here out of Nico Collins. And I don't know if this is like a little curl route, a stick route. It might be just to try to get the safeties engaged to ensure that this is one-on-one coverage for this cornerback. But regardless, looks like DPJ is the guy all the way here. So, like I said, single coverage here. These guys here, you're bringing this guy to replace, I think, in the middle of the field. He probably has a running back just in case, given the blitz. But given one-on-one coverage, quick read, and just an unbelievable catch from DPJ. Like, this is an NFL catch. Just full extension. Really good coverage, too. There's just not much you can do against that.
Up front, Shea Patterson doesn't have to focus on any of that. After the fake, Patterson on target. Here's Nico.
Nice pass, Nico Collins with zone coverage here. Indiana sending like a really weird late design stunt here with these 3 offensive linemen kind of going to their right with this hybrid defensive end sort of guy coming around really late. Michigan keeps 6 in for blocking, so eventually Mayfield will be here ready for this looper. And really McCune won't have anyone to block. He'll just chip in with this guy that John Rooney Jr. is dealing with. So at the time of the throw, no threat whatsoever. Plenty of time for Patterson to read the defense here. So looking at the route, you're going to have this play action before True Wilson comes out on this sort of flat route. That's going to be really important for this gentleman. We'll point that out a little bit later. You're going to have St. Ristel running this sort of seam pass. This is mainly just to ensure that he occupies the deep 3 safeties or 2 corners and safety in the middle of the field. So this is the important route that will open up this sort of post pattern for Nico Collins. That will be the option. And then you're going to have sort of an out and up wheel route for DPJ here. So that's the route combo. Only 4 routes, kind of a flood concept, but you also, by doing this, you eliminate the amount of reads that Patterson has to do. He's only looking at one side of the field here, right? So like I mentioned, with the route that St. Ristel is running, that'll occupy the deep zone defenders. With True Wilson coming up here, this is the main defender you want to put in conflict. He either has to fall back, that will cover the slant from Nico Collins, or he has to come up and cover this. He decides to come up, and that is what vacates this route for Nico Collins. Like you can see, this guy for St. Ristel, this guy has to follow this. Number 14 is following a deep route. He probably is the one responsible for this right here. But then if this doesn't come open, then you'll have DPJ down the sideline here. So it's really putting these 2 guys in conflict with all of the routes here. Simple zone beater and a nice delivery from Patterson, and Collins gallops for a couple yards.
Give him plenty of time again. End zone.
This is just easy money right here. Indiana sending 4 in the pass rush. No stunts, just straight up rush here. Michigan keeps in 5 here for pass protection. You'll have Onwenu blocking air here. Everyone else is doing really well. No issues at the time of the throw, given this is the target all of the way. At the time of the throw, you could see there was no one really challenging this pocket for Patterson. So looking at the route combo, you're going to have an outside release go route. You could maybe call it a fade route, but it looks more like a go route to me. You're going to have an inside release slant route out of St. Ristel, a seam route out of McCune, and it looks like a little hitch route out of DPJ at the bottom of your screen here. So the eyes for Patterson will go towards the middle of the field. I think that's just to ensure that this safety starts flowing this way and doesn't interfere with this initial read. Looks like it works since this guy is already looking towards McCune after the eyes for Patterson took him there. Oh, and I think I didn't mention that True Wilson comes out here in the flat as well. So given it's an initial read, clean pocket, as I mentioned. Really good route out of Nico Collins to get a yard of separation here. Throw is a little bit high, which is perfect for a 6'4" giant athletic man, and he comes down with it for 6. And again, he just beats him right off the bat. If you're this corner, you really need to get an initial jam. Nico Collins did a really good job of just turning on the burners after he gets that initial step. It's just too easy.
They bring pressure. Patterson has time, has an open receiver.
Lots of pressure from Indiana here. Good job from Michigan to adjust and throw quickly here in cover 0. There are no safeties over top. It's just one-on-one coverage for every single receiver that Michigan is sending out here. So Indiana is going to send a couple interesting guys on a stunt here. So you're sending this guy straight upfield. You'll have this defensive end start upfield and then cut inside. You'll have similar action on the other side where this guy that you see flying through, this linebacker, is going to do the same, come up here. Defensive end is going to start coming up and then break inside. Nose guard will come all the way here. Same with this defender, and then you'll have this guy shooting this B gap here on the left side. So 6 on pressure. No one really gets home. Good job, especially from Onwenu, to ride this guy out and for Mayfield to follow this defensive end on his stunt inside. It looks like a little bit of a mess on this left side, but Haskins is here to help as well. And at the time of the throw, there's no pressure on Patterson. So looking at the routes, you're going to have inside release, sort of deeper slants, or I guess post routes here from both Ronnie Bell and Nico Collins at the bottom of the screen. You're going to have this sort of just a go route from DPJ. This is where the throw goes, and then sort of an outside release little hitch route. It looks like from, I think that's Giles Jackson. So read all the way for Patterson. He sees one-on-one coverage. There's no one back here. It's an easy win for a super fast guy like DPJ. Throw is going there all the way, and he leaves 27. He's got at least a couple of yards here. Throw could maybe be a little bit more out in front. DPJ did have to wait for it a little bit here, but man, he just torches 27. Catch actually pretty decently in stride. 27 is able to make the tackle, but not after a big pickup.
Another play action pass, another bullet to Nico Collins. They're trying to get him right here.
Beautiful RPO action here to Nico Collins. Let's look at the run blocking concept here. So this guy is coming off the edge on a blitz, right? He is the conflict player. He is who Patterson is reading. So Mayfield's going to come out here and pick this up. They're going to leave this guy unblocked. He's going to naturally come up the field. Double between Ruiz and Onwenu will drop off for the linebacker, number 7, flowing to this play. Double here between these two offensive linemen on the left side. That's Bredesen and John Running Jr. Running Jr., I believe, will drop off for 99. The trap here is allowing this defender to come upfield. You'll have Ben Mason coming across the formation here to pick up this block. And that's going to be a little counter action here to True Wilson. So that's the run action. You'll see how this is set up here. Sorry, it was Bredesen who goes to 99, and John Running Jr. Deals with this guy after the initial double. Here's Ben Mason dealing with the unblocked defensive end, and here was the blitz pickup here. As you can see, this double is progressing, and when he's going to pick that guy up. So Ben Mason actually gets owned here, but the read is a pass given this was the boundary defender coming upfield. So that means that this guy has to come out here. They're running a zone here. This guy is going to drop back here. The action on this side, you're going to have on the bottom of the screen here, this route, this wheel route, that's going to force this safety over this way as well as this defender. So these guys are essentially eliminated. These guys are eliminated from the run game as well as this. What's going to happen here is you're going to have this sort of outside slant route, and this route will command the defenders right here on this hitch, and the eyes for Patterson really sell this. So watch the eyes for Patterson. Ronnie Bell's just going to sit there. This guy's still floating this way. Patterson waits an extra beat. He sells it with his eyes. Right now he's looking right here. There's no way these defenders can know that Nico Collins is coming across behind them. So really interesting route combo. Great delivery from Nico Collins, and then he's just gone after on the catch. So really, really clever play design and great execution.
They're going to go for 2 and in.
So this was the 2-point play right after the touchdown. This is the best view we can get. I don't know who this is. This has to be the kicker. So you shift off the offensive line over here. You leave your snapper here. So you got 1, 2, 3, and then 4 here with Dylan McCaffrey here. So it looks like he's trying to fake here. That's why this guy's raising his hand. And that's trying to get these defenders, I guess, to flow this way initially, especially number 7. If he comes upfield right away, then you're in trouble. So get these guys completely eliminated, and then you'll just have essentially 5-on-4 if you go this way. And that's especially what Michigan wants here. So he starts going this way, right? And now it's just about getting these guys one-on-one to force these guys to cover him. So this guy's going out on a route, trying to command number 8 to follow him. Same with these two guys. I don't know if they're explicitly even eligible, really, but they're just going here just to try to get these guys to follow. And I think these guys are probably not eligible. That's why they're not going more than 3 yards down the field. They're probably just coached to stop at the goal line. That's 3 yards. You don't want to get called for a penalty. But the snapper is eligible. He's coming out this way. That commands number 5 to follow this route. He either has to decide, okay, I'm going to take out McCaffrey here and not allow McCaffrey to run, in which case he would just throw to the long snapper. I think that's Cheeseman. I'm not sure if that's still a long snapper. But given that, number 5 has to follow him. Number 7 is the only guy who can conceivably make a play, and Dylan McCaffrey's too fast for that play. So really interesting design. I like how they eliminate this guy completely. They have a numbers advantage because of this defender kind of out in no man's land here. And it's a good job of knowing who's eligible, running the snapper this way to really put number 5 in conflict to make a choice. And that's winning football here when you have a useless defender here. And you make this guy make a hard choice, and you get 2 points out of it. So nice recognition from the offensive staff.
Brown said he can really rush the passer, and he has some power. He can go speed to power. Patterson back.
Just looks too easy with Nico Collins, doesn't it? So Indiana's only sending 4 in the pass rush. They'll send 2 late, but this is the initial pass rush out of Indiana. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here plus Charbonnet. So you're only sending these 3 gents on routes. So you got 7 against 4. That's winning numbers all the way. Really good job from Runyon here, especially just totally dispatching this guy. Good job from the interior offensive line. You got these 2 linebackers who are kind of coming late. You got Mayfield and Charbonnet not really doing anything here, as McCune is actually holding his own really well here. So beautiful pocket at the time of the throw. Again, no one's really struggling. Even with these 2 guys coming up, you got a couple guys able to pick them up. So routes for this combination, you're going to have sort of this wheel route out of DPJ up the sideline. Simple post pattern out of Nico Collins that will get thrown to. And then you have this little curl route that's really important. This is really important for this safety to bite on this curl route, and that's what opens the middle of the field here for Patterson. This is the first read. You'll see Patterson's eyes are on this safety. So whether he's reading whether this safety is going to drop in the middle of the field on Nico Collins' post route, or is he going to come up and cover Ronnie Bell on the curl. Since he came up, that's what opens this post route for Patterson here. So good job by offensive line, giving plenty of time here. And Nico Collins has a step on this defender. As you can see, the safety was up on Ronnie Bell, as I said. So Nico Collins with a step plus a high throw that allows Nico Collins at 6'4" to go up and catch it with his long frame. That is the hardest pass to defend. I don't know how anyone can expect to actually defend this pass. He had, a step from the start, maybe a step and a half with a high throw. That's just 6 points, easy as it can be.
3rd down and 4. Patterson deep again.
Beautiful ball here to Sainer still on the outside. IU is sending 5 on pressure, so you're going to send this defensive end inside here. You got these 2 outside defenders. This is a little stunt here from, I think, 43. And then you'll have these 2 guys straight up on the bottom here. Good job from Ruiz and Bredesen to understand this stunt and pass it off really well. You also have Charbonnet here in pass protection, but he's not needed. So at the time of Patterson loading up here, it's a good job by blocking all around. No issues whatsoever here at the time of the throw. Looking at the routes, you got a little the fade that will eventually get thrown to from Sainristel. You have who is this? Giles Jackson, I think, on a little circle route is what it's called. So he's just running this sort of inside release and then back to kind of an out route here. You're going to have a shallow cross out of Cornelius Johnson. He gets kind of beat off the punch here. Number 14 gets pretty physical and wins the line of scrimmage here. Then kind of a similar fade as Sainristel, except at the other side and a little bit more inside from Eubanks here. So initial read all the way is looking at this safety, ensuring that he's actually covering the circle route from Giles Jackson. He is. Single coverage means I'll throw to the outside of Sainristel. I like the inside release out of or at least I like the positioning of Sainristel here on the inside of the numbers. That allows a lot of room for this pass on the outside of the numbers for Sainristel to adjust to. So that's a lot of field to throw to. Sainristel next makes a really nice catch, secures it, and goes down. Just a really nice display of body control and adjusting to the ball in the air there. Nothing really special about the route. He might get away with a little bit of a push off here, but he's able to break outside and secure a fingertip catch. So just great job all around, good execution, really good throw, and honestly good defense. Again, the defender's there. It's just a better offensive play.